Intuition is your superpower. No doubt you've heard me say that before if you've been following my work. However, what about you? Can you see that in your own life? The value? And you're also probably saying, yeah, Ken, of course, as I make better decisions, wiser decisions, I'll experience more of what some might call good luck. But Ken, how do I know I can trust my intuition? Is it really, viable? Or am I making it up? So let's talk about that a little bit. And that's what I'd like in this video, intended to be somewhat short, some tips how you can begin to awaken or continue to awaken your intuition, and more importantly, to develop it and get to a point of a skill level of mastery, if you will, with your intuition. It's not easy. It takes practice. I have found too, and in my opinion, and I think many would agree, unless you have some training, mentorship, coaching, guidance, it's not so easy. It's more difficult, maybe not even possible, but it is possible. Also, the premise is we now know everybody has this ability. When I started back in 1971, I was a student at Boston University, and I never heard of stuff like this. But back then, you heard a lot about ESP, and it was kind of, or women's intuition. And it was thought to be a gift that only certain people have, or in a movie. Well, a lot has changed since then, hasn't it? So much has changed that now we know everybody has this ability. Although I might add, Mr. Jose Silva, the founder who developed this, did research from 1944 to 1966, was sharply criticized by leading authorities at universities who were scientists studying parapsychology. And they said, oh, no, Mr. Silva, only certain people have this ability, and it can't be trained, and it can't be developed. Boy, were they ever wrong. And it didn't get in his way. He just kept going along, and here we are, nearly 60 years later, all over the world, bringing this to people. So what are some of the findings? For myself, at one time I was the youngest instructor. Now I'm the oldest. They call me the lead instructor, training director here in the U.S. And after working with so many hundreds of thousands of people, I found that there are several necessary, shall I say, tips in your mindset that will help you to not only awaken, but to develop your intuition. So let's take a look at some of the distortions, as I call them, that corrupt your thinking and blindside us and get in the way. One obvious one would be wishful thinking. When we're attached to our goal, what it is we want, and we're, shall we say, addicted to it, because we want so much. And if we're obsessed, it can cloud our judgment, and it becomes more of hoping, wishing, rather than a true insight. So an intuitive insight, this heartfelt inner wisdom, needs to be detached from want, from desire, if you will. I know that sounds contradictory. It's really a skill set, and I admit to you, it's not easy, but it's necessary. So it's a preference. Let's put it that way. This is something you'd like, and you're not attached to it. So if it doesn't work out, you're not going to be horribly upset and disappointed. That's a way to test it. So the wishful thinking, you see this when people gamble. I was literally raised in an environment of gamblers, and I watched prominent business people lose their businesses, lose their homes because of this gambling, wishful thinking. Oh, this is my lucky day. Oh, this is the number. It doesn't quite work like that. So wishful thinking is a big one. Another one would be fear. A lot of ways to look at fear. One would be when our ego gets in the way, and we all have a healthy ego. It's important. What I mean by that, it gets in the way that we're so concerned, can I do as good as him or her? Oh my God, she's so intuitive. He's so, whoa. And if we're comparing too much, that in itself gets us concerned about not making a fool of ourselves, or we don't want to be disappointed, or we don't want to look bad. That will definitely cloud your judgment. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's important to adopt an attitude, a mindset that says, hey, if I do it, great. If I don't. And that takes practice, and that takes training, my friends. Another thing with respect that can distort our judgment is we make it like a test, and we get overly competitive. Again, that's the ego in the way. Oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do better. And that, again, it gets us into more of an objective state, a critical mindset. And in order for intuition and creativity, which come from the same place, they're subjective faculties of mind, it's important that we literally silence critical thinking, rational mind analysis, which is the whole purpose of meditation, which is why meditation, being able to get into a relaxed, quiet state quickly and easily, is so important. Because by doing that, it opens us up to a free flow of our intuition. And with practice and making it part of your daily practice, meditation or a relaxation focusing exercise, it helps us to create a state of being that comes to us very naturally, and we flow in and out very easily. Eyes open or eyes closed. Again, it's a skill set and it takes practice. So be patient with yourself with that. Also, having a sense of purpose. For example, you've heard the expression, seek and you shall find. Love it, right? And I agree. However, may I add, in my humble opinion, I believe it is far better to find something, be a finder, and focus in on it, zero in, work with it, integrate it, and become an implementer. Not just a consumer of knowledge, which many people are being seduced to the promise of the new shiny object, something bigger and better, something new, and it's really repurposed material. But to take what you know and implement it, integrate it, milk it for everything you can, and work with it. And that takes time and practice. It's not quick fix with that. So be clear about your intention, the value. So for example, if you are a coach, a therapist, you want to connect better with the people you serve. Agreed? You want to understand them more deeply and really help them to get to what's really getting in their way, holding them back. Or perhaps you want to connect better with your family, your children, in your relationship. Or you are an investor, or you're in business and you want to scale up your business. And it's, business and scaling up, you got to be flexible in our thinking, very important. And especially nowadays, to be able to move and pivot. But how do you know what you're pivoting into? I mean, you don't know. But what you want to do is increase the odds in your favor. So when you know the difference that makes the difference between when you're on the money with your intuition, what we call in the Silva Method points of reference, and when you're not, then that puts the odds in your favor, because you can say, I've been there, done that. I've had this feeling before, or I've had this vision before, or I've heard this message before. Because people flow with their intuition differently. Then you're cooking. And again, it takes practice. So again, a big part of my message is be patient with yourself. It doesn't happen like that. And anybody who tells you it does, run. And I mean run. And it can be done. So having a deep sense of purpose, value, what's kept me going in all these 51 years teaching the Silva Method, traveling the world. I'm the guy Jose Silva selected out of hundreds, literally hundreds of global instructors. There are only 4 people in the world, and he was one of them, to offer advanced training to our students, to our people, coming to our classes. And I became one of them. And I admit to you, when I was first got the call, I said, me? Why me? I've lived up to it, but man, at first it kind of shook me at my core. Can you relate? You ever been through something like that? But what I did was I showed up and I practiced, and I made lots of mistakes and I screwed up, I'm sure. But I practiced and I studied and I evaluated and I mentally rehearsed and I did my meditation every day, multiple times a day, and visualized positive end results. So this life vision of helping people create a more fulfilling life, helping people to navigate life with grace, ease, and in flow with their intuition, helping people to enjoy a more fulfilling, happier, healthier life by having the skills that I don't do it for you, you do it. You have this ability, but using these skills to boost your immune system, to stay healthy, to make more winning decisions. That excites me. I'm passionate about, Because as you get a little bit better, I get a little bit better, we help overall to make this a better world to live in, don't we? It's so important because, frankly, you'll be easier to live with, easier to work with, because you're kinder, a little bit kinder, a little bit, you don't have to be hugely kinder, but a little kinder, a little bit more generous, a little bit more patient with people. Boy, we can use so much more of that in the world today. Agreed? And that's what really I resonate with. That's the bubble I've been living in helping people to get into that state so that we have a better life and a better world. So what's your purpose? Why is it important for you to develop and awaken your intuition? Get clear about that. And also embrace, one more last tip, important. Embrace who you are and what comes naturally. Ideally, we develop all the range. However, intuitive insights, messages, whatever you want to call them, flow in many different ways. Some people are very visual. If you study parapsychology, they call it clairsentience. It just means clear vision. And they're getting visual images guiding them, not just in their dreams, which is the most common time, but in their daydreams, when you least expect it. And it guides them to be in the right place at the right time, make a better decision. Some people hear voices. It's called clairaudience. It simply means clear hearing. And some people, like myself, are dominantly kinesthetic, clairsentience, feeling, vibes, a sense of knowing. When you embrace that and you accept it, rather than compare and say, oh, how come I can't visualize like him or her, which I used to do. Oh God, you should have seen me in my Silva class in 71. I was freaking out. I thought I was going to be the first failure. Can I ever do this? And once I started getting practical experience in the class, in the training, it became more believable for me. And that's what the Silva program, we call the immersion of life, Silva Life and Intuition System, offers you. Step-by-step guidance with yours truly or a certified instructor, and practice with feedback, constant, immediate feedback, so that you know what you know. And you begin to make distinctions when you're tuned in, when you're not. And all throughout the class, especially in day 3 and day 4, which we call Intuition System, there are lots of games with intuition. I was counting them in my head. Anywhere from 10 to 13 games where you get immediate feedback, where you're tuned in, where you're not, where you're accurate, and you begin to recognize where you're flowing, where you are, and there'll be times when you'll knock your socks off. And there'll be times that you might blow it. But it's really not blowing it if you learn something, what not to do. And then after the class, you'll get tons of support from us. I really am very proud to say that in the best of times and the worst of times, here we are, the Silva International organization, offering our program based on Mr. Silva's research since '66. All over the world, they're doing that. And after the class, we're with you, offering support, offering further training, offering guidance, coaching, mentoring, I have a video newsletter that I publish weekly, about 98% of the time, something like that. So now it's up to you to get started. I hope you get value even from the tips that I said. It would be great to have you in class and the training with me in person, going back to that, or virtually, whatever is best for you and most practical for you. So take care, my friends, and remember, you are far better, far, far better than what you give yourself credit.